I'm Harry Dobbs, and I'm trained as an architect, but really we've always espoused an interdisciplinary approach. We've always had a setup where we shared studios with artists, fashion designers, jewelry designers. I think currently people doing machine learning, AI, and that conversation I think is really core to how we approach things. So for example, in this specific instance, these products, the strategic thinking behind it goes right down to the same things we'd consider urban design, the community that would use it and make it, thinking of the heritage and the place that informs it, there being a long heritage in AlUla of sort of going back into the ancient period of it being a centre of ceramic production. So from that, we're looking at, say, 3D printing. The reason for that is, one, it produces an aesthetic which we think really evokes well the connection to the landscape. So it has stone dust from AlUla. So you use the material from the site. You can use this technique, you can make it on the site. The intention really is to get production up and running in AlUla. 3D printing allows for that. And so that's conceived of right at the outset with things like this, where products or designs have provenance. They're unique to that place. In this instance, it's made from the material of it. It can be made in that place. And I think that deep connection to place is really important. And I think there's something really exciting in our minds about how objects and the design of them, we can take place with us. You know, we're very accustomed to that with photographs, video. I think products have that role as well. In our conversations with Noura, we'd already noticed the success, I think, of contemporary art in Saudi Arabia. And then we saw the AlUla Prize come up, and we couldn't not really enter it because it was looking for cultural retail, really, in many senses. And that was very close to the interests we had and the things we've been developing. The brief we set ourselves for it, really, was for it to hold all those values in it of cultural expression, deep provenance and connection to place, something that connected to creative economy and the potential for making in Saudi. All these things sort of came into the brief and set the strategy for the design. We started developing our knowledge of AlUla more, geological formations, eons of sedimentary processes that have built up and then over millennia been worn down through climatic change. That creates this dramatic landscape. And then on top of that, there are these layers of culture and human occupation that have left their mark through carving into that landscape. What became exciting was, or what the opportunity is now, to add to AlUla's recasting of itself in the 21st century as a contemporary destination and a centre of living design, not just a museum of the past. Just in terms of the experience of AlUla, you have a different conception of time, being away from urban environments that we're all used to in sort of design culture. We tend to focus quite a lot on urban environments, and I think AlUla changes pace actually. And that's part of its magic, I think. There's a lot to inspire a designer about AlUla. It allows people to approach things in a different way, probably. You see the stars. I mean, there are a lot of things that we've lost in our urban environments, and AlUla has a lot of those. And I think that one of the most sort of exciting things about AlUla is it's almost like, in some senses, an anti-city experience. And I think that will be a lot of its attraction for future visitors, actually, be they creative visitors or people who are coming to see the sights, as it were. One of the things that quite often gets forgotten in competitions or scenarios like this, it's often not so much about the design of the product or the architecture or whatever you design for the competition. Really, it's about the people, because really a competition is a matchmaking process between a team of designers and a client, really. And it changes how you think about the design. It becomes almost an essay in your thinking process.